Hey guys, how you doing today? Welcome back to Political Brownies, and today we're going to be talking about a hot
Wait,
topic.
hold on a sec. Quick call. Hello?
Hey, hello, how you doing?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Who's this?
This is Bob. Bob McCrimmon.
How you doing, Bob?
So, listen, I've been helping you out a lot with your aerobics lessons. There's this guy that's been giving me a lot of issues lately. I know you owe me money. As a conditionality, I need you to rough him up a little bit. Give him a few bruises. Got it?
Sounds good.
So I guess it's pretty obvious through our little skit what we're going to be talking about today. The legal definition of what constitutes as quid pro quo. Nah, I'm just joshing with you. But we are going to be talking about something a little bit more ambiguous, and that is the political implications for impeachment. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that ever since January of 2017, Trump has been under the threat of impeachment. You can say that he rose to the presidency rather controversially with the 2016 election, and there was already calls and claims that Trump allegedly colluded with the Russian government in trying to damage the reputation of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in trying to conspire and winning the election. Now, this ensued a 2.5 year investigation, a special counsel investigation, no less, right after the firing of FBI Director James Comey, who was also investigating President Trump on these allegations. You can say this was the equivalent to like the Saturday Night Massacre. So this ensued a special counsel investigation headed by famed prosecutor Robert S. Mueller III. However, after 2.5 years of investigations, of various stories and leaks, and so many indictments on Russian officials and even Trump officials, in April of 2019, through a letter that was submitted to Attorney General William Barr, it was found that there was no linkage or connection between the Trump campaign and the Russian government in any sort of conspiracy or collusion in the United States presidential election of 2016. Now, there was tons and there was definitive evidence to suggest that the Russian government did purposely interfere in the 2016 election and that they did prefer President Trump as a way to like negotiate or exert influence into the country. But still, no direct evidence between the Trump campaign and the Russian government in colluding.
All right. However, there were several reports in there were several evidence in Mueller's report that suggested that the president obstructed justice. Just to let you know, the Democrats, they're strongly against Trump being in office right now, and they want him out because they don't feel like he's being held accountable. And a lot of people are talking about the impeachment right now. Let's get something straight. Impeachment does not mean that the president is going to be forced out of office. Impeachment has to go through a whole phase. If it fully goes through the phase that it's going through right now, after that, it's going to be brought into the Senate's office. And two-thirds of the Senates have to vote to forcefully get the president out of the office. But we all know that the Senate is controlled by the Republican Party, so therefore, that's not going to happen. And another thing is that the leader, what's his name, McCollum,
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McCollum. He's the head of the senator. He already said in one of his basically interview or statement, he said that it is insane to try to impeach a president over a phone call. And like I said, so that's not going to happen. But it is up to us as public to raise our voice because in the past there has been several presidents that have been through the impeachment process. The only difference is that those presidents were actually in their second term, so they weren't going to face the public again. But right now, since it's 2019, 2020's election time, Trump is going to have to reface the public for the elections. It is up to us to choose wisely, as a lot of people are being more knowledgeable on what's going on in current issues. What else you
Now,
want to say?
there was a famous quote by Hamilton,
Oh
right, that you were
yes,
telling me about before.
yes. The famous quote by Hamilton. He said that one man's political offense is another person's politicized, which basically means that if one person commits a crime, then the other party can use that as a weapon to go against that person. And they can use it to protect their own party.
So, in a sense, politics is like a game of 3D chess, in a sense.
Basically,
And because of that, the dexterity of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, love her or hate her, her call back in June of 2019, when the Mueller report was just being released and there was actually public testimony of Robert Mueller in Congress, her call was to hold off on impeachment or just to be very cautious or skeptical to use reasoning such as obstruction of justice as the main bearing of impeaching Trump. However, a few months later, on September 24th, 2019, everything changed. And on that fateful day, Nancy Pelosi announced to the world that her caucus was announcing an impeachment inquiry against the President of the United States, but not on alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government in 2016, not for obstruction of justice, not for the emoluments clause, not even for alleged war crimes in Yemen or various other matters, such as maybe Trump's decorum. But on that fateful day, on September 24th, 2019, Nancy Pelosi announced an impeachment inquiry against the president based on alleged acts of bribery. You want to explain more about what those acts of bribery were?
All right. So what happened was basically the United States have been helping Ukraine we've been aiding them money to fight against Russia. So President Trump on July 25th, he was on a phone call with President of Ukraine Zelensky, and on the call he specifically stated that we've been helping you out. In return, we need a favor from you guys. So what he wanted Zelensky to do, Ukraine to do, is do an investigation on Biden and his son, and a lot of people are just against that. They feel like for the president of the United States to go through a foreign, like to ask help from a foreign country to harass one of their own citizens is just unlawful. So that's why right now he's being impeached in a lot of hearings because they feel like it was bribery. He's giving the money not just to help, but in return because he wants something.
Now, it also is important to note too that another reason why he made the call to the Ukrainian president was also information on CrowdStrike, which was the intelligence firm that was tied to the Hillary Clinton campaign, which is sort of what ensued the Russian investigation for the last 2.5, close to even 3 years, technically. So, to some people, it feels like a continuation of the Russian hysteria, and to some, it just seems, and in good faith, they just feel like this is just more of an assault on what they feel is a duly elected president of the United States. But what others across the aisle will argue is it doesn't matter your political ideology or who do you prefer in which political party or whatever. At the end of the day, you can't defend the acts that the president did in this phone call. So it seems like everybody's set in their political camps where there may not be much movement in the two sides. All I can say is I think the people that are going to make the difference in this ensuing political fight are independents. And I know that's a big cliche, but right at the moment, there has been several polls that have suggested that most Americans think what Trump did with the phone call is wrong. However, impeachable, that is yet to be seen.
And remember one more thing: to be impeached, it doesn't have to be a major crime or anything. You could be impeached as simple as not having a proper morality. And another
And
thing,
Trump, him and his cussing and his erratic Twitter.
yeah,
that can
no,
technically
listen,
be
Trump is a
impeached.
businessman at the end.
Yeah.
He just he likes to pitch some stuff like the media wants, the public wants. He knows that a lot of people are looking for aggressiveness, and that's what he's showing that. And he just knows how to pitch the right stuff at the right time. And one more thing I'm just simply going to say is that whether his offense was impeachable or not, at the end of the day, it is up to us, like I said in the past, to raise our voice. It's up to us to gain as much knowledge on the current situation, and it's up to us to come together to elect the right president for 2020.
Of course, because the difference is that this is occurring in his first term, unlike other presidents in the past where it occurred in their second term. So that's where we're at right now, where we're gonna have to see where this ball goes. Right now, the issue is the establishment of a quid pro quo. Now, like my colleague said, impeachment is a political process. But the thing is that it's kind of like the skit we were doing earlier in the video, which is if you want to like bring charges against the president for high crimes and misdemeanors, you have to have high damning evidence that the president did the crimes that you're alleging. So even though it is a political process, you can also make the same argument that, yeah, Bill Clinton back in 1998 technically committed perjury by lying about his sexual deviancy with intern Monica Lewinsky. But we all look back in retrospect, including Republicans, that that was still a very bad political maneuver for them to, die on the hill and say, this is the issue we're going to be standing on and impeaching the president on. Now, a president of the United States having, you know, things he shouldn't have been doing, but sexual deviancy with interns and trying to force countries to do your will and violating international and laws within your jurisdiction. Two completely different things. I agree with you, but nonetheless, it's all about how you play politics at the end of the day because politics is a weapon. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, with the quid pro quo argument, people would argue, listen, we've been under the topic of impeachment for the last 2.5 years. We're in a very impeachment tired public. If they're going to bring charges like this, you have to have very strong evidence. So until we get more evidence, I mean, there's going to be more and more witnesses testifying. There was two today that were actually on the phone call when this deal was allegedly being taken place, and they had high issues with it. So once we start hearing from more witnesses, some more information that may be leaked to the public, maybe even some testimony from the whistleblower who
And
really
those
knows.
and those two witnesses
Yeah.
actually even said that they knew about the deal about giving aid to the Ukraine, but they didn't know that it was tied to bribery. At the
Mhm.
end, they were not part of that.
Yeah.
So, like
We'll
I
see
said,
what happens,
the
yeah.
closing statement for the closing statement, we're just simply going to say this is we want to know your opinion on this. We want to hear out what people got to say. So please do leave comments and
Yeah.
stuff, and let's just make the 2020 the best election possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, take care, guys.
Regardless of your
Political
political
party.
persuasion. Bam. Have a good one.